Welcome to Module 4 in Securing Windows Server 2016 Infrastructure. In this module, we're going to focus on firewalls and how those are used to protect our virtual machines and physical machines in our Windows 2016 environment. We're going to talk about some of the new features that have come out in Windows Server 2016 when it comes to firewalls, and then we're going to demonstrate traffic flowing in and out of a server from the server's perspective. We're going to talk about several different types of new features in Windows Server 2016, one of those being Datacenter Firewalls. Then we're going to go on to advanced firewall rules, where we show how to block or open ports into a Windows Server firewall. And then we're going to, of course, do the demonstration of our network traffic. Let's talk about a distributed firewall system. The first thing is the distributed firewall itself has now been renamed to the Datacenter Firewall. Now, in some certification tests, you're going to find that this is still called a distributed firewall, but in some newer tests, you're going to see it's called a Datacenter Firewall. So Microsoft has renamed this, but they mean the same thing. The terminology is basically referring to creating a software-based firewall that affects virtual machines on a physical host. The Datacenter Firewall and Network Controller are core components of the Azure Stack, which we're going to talk about. The Azure Stack gives us an on-premises private cloud experience that closely mirrors what we have now in the Azure Public Cloud. And it even includes a web portal. The Datacenter Firewall controls traffic coming from all different directions. The first is the southbound. Southbound traffic is used to communicate between your network controller and your software-defined network. We need to bring the Azure software-defined networking on premises, and this new network controller server role in Windows Server 2016 is one aspect of Microsoft's plan to bring the full Azure experience to your local data center. The public cloud isn't for everybody, and your business could be subject to government or other industry rules for compliance. The software-defined network allows us to have all the features that were in the public with Azure now on premises with your Microsoft Windows Server 2016. Once again, southbound traffic, that's between your virtual machines, your hosts, and your software-defined network. So let's talk about northbound traffic. Well, this is traffic that is for pretty much everybody else with one exception. So everybody else would be the LAN, the WAN, and the internet. So this is traffic coming into your server, going out of your server, going to all these different locations. So that's considered northbound traffic, and it's the majority of the type of traffic you're going to control. And the last type would be west or eastbound traffic. Now, this means basically the same thing, west or east. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on where your machines are physically in the network. So what this type of traffic means is it's communication between nodes in a cluster. So when you create a cluster, you add nodes or servers to load balance various different types of things, such as file shares, remote desktop servers, and other things, even SQL Server as well. So any traffic between a node that says, hey, I'm up and I'm healthy, or my server is going down because I've got to do updates, or I've got a problem, that's all considered west or eastbound traffic. So now we've got all the different types of traffic covered in our distributed firewall system. So now we need to talk about the network controller service, because that's the other half of this Azure public cloud experience. So we need to install the network controller role, but you have to be on a Server 2016 data center or virtual machine manager in order to have this particular role. If you don't have the data center version or virtual machine manager loaded onto it, then you won't even see that particular role as an option, and you can't install it using PowerShell. However, if you do have it, you can go ahead and install it, and here's the command to do it. You would install the Windows feature followed by the name Network Controller, and you would include the management tools, and then you would restart. The Datacenter Firewall and the Network Controller roles are the two pieces that make up a new kind of security in Windows Server 2016, which can protect your physical and virtual environments.